On November 24th of 2023, a school janitor is walking through an empty hallway that other custodians don't like being in during the night shift. The high school where this video takes place doesn't allow students to be alone inside this hallway after a specific time, and for good reason. This school was built on a cemetery. Throughout the school, photos of the old cemetery can be found displayed on the walls, including fragments of headstones that were once there. Janitors claim that the place is haunted. One night, a school custodian decides to record a video after having a strange encounter. But as he records, something happens that terrifies him beyond belief. This is his video. Watch.
Alright, I usually don't record while I'm on the job, but this is freaking me out. It's sort of unreal. I'm here at work. I'm here in the janitor's closet. Yeah, let me just show you guys. All right. Just to, I don't know, let you guys know this school was built on a cemetery. I don't know if that helps my situation or not, but previous janitors that have worked here have tried to tell everyone that, you know, every night something happens, some spooky shit, I don't know, paranormal or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, I didn't really believe them until tonight. I was in here cleaning up after some students had thrown a party, but what's been freaking me out is this one right here. No matter where I'm at in the classroom or what I decide to do, it just follows me. And do your thing, you stupid balloon. I got you on camera now, so let's just, see? That right there. Just ooh, okay. See, no. It just follows me no matter what. Ooh. No, I can't.
If you have this name, I'm sorry for you, but you're in real trouble. If you know someone with one of these first names, it's time to absolutely share this video with them as a warning. It's better for everyone. According to studies, certain first names attract spirits far more than usual. This can be dangerous for a variety of reasons. They're more aggressive in word, deed, or even with truly malicious thoughts. This ranking will help you to be careful with the people you meet. Let's start right away with the third name on this list. It's a male name, that of a well-known YouTuber. It's the name Junior TV. In second place among those considered the most dangerous and sometimes possessed. This time it's a female name, and it's the name Layla. And finally, at the very top of the list of people who attract the most spirits and become aggressive and strange, whether by their actions or their thoughts, it's a mixed name. I sincerely hope there aren't many watching this video. I'm a little afraid of them. So the name is, but it's the name Ethan.
Babe? Are you upstairs?
Nope. 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 Mm-mm.
Okay, so I had something really fucking creepy happen to me. I don't know how to explain it. Anyways, here's the clip.
Oh, Jesus. I do wish this had a better light. What the fuck?
How did that happen?
You're about to witness the real footage of the Sallie House hauntings.
Oh, crap.
This story is about a demon disguised as a little girl.
There's a little girl that's standing right there.
Let's get into the story. Trigger warning, because this is a very scary true ghost story. Everything from the evidence to the sound design to the storytelling, doing this to let you experience the fear that these families went through. So if that's not something that you want to see, then this video is not for you. But if you do like that, then this video is perfect. It's 1992 in a small town called Atchison in Kansas. And it is here where we find a beautiful house. This house was built in the 1800s, and married couple Tony and Deborah Pinkman decide that they should move in. They just had a baby, so they built a nursery upstairs. But then the strange things started happening. Doors flinging open. You take a picture of the door and something is floating in the doorway. The wax on their candles is going up. Not down with gravity, the wax is going up. The lights are flickering, and every picture that they try to take has these strange, blurry apparitions. Then they would discover the pentagram that resides in their basement. So at first, they just put up with this. But one night, Tony got home from work. As he walked upstairs to Deborah, he was suddenly hit by something that felt like a truck. It hit him so hard that he flew out of his laced boots. It then pinned him down to the ground. He was fighting to move, but he couldn't. And all Deborah could do was stand in silence, because she was too scared to even scream. When Tony could finally stand, he felt his back burning. And that's when Deborah watched scratches form in front of her eyes. These would be the first of many that would scar him for life. And when this entity began to light fires on their newborn baby's clothing and items around the house, it became too much to bear. Later that night, they went to bed. But then they began to hear groaning and whispering. As they laid in the dark behind their heads from inside the wall, they would hear the tormented sounds of something. Then they would hear their door creak open, creak back shut. They could then feel the presence of something standing over them. They wouldn't get any sleep. Then they would hear their baby cry. But they were so absolutely terrified that they couldn't even stand to check. It's not just the fact that something is in your room, it's the energy that it carries with it. They would make it through these horrible nights. And during the day, every time they walked up the stairs, they would pass through this electric energy that was so powerful it would burn your skin. You would hear the pops of static and then feel a slow burn as it carved up your back, leaving deep in scratches. Now, this story is going to have a part 2, and part 2 is absolutely crazy. The craziest paranormal evidence I've ever seen, because a crew comes over to investigate. A crew of skeptics, I might add. And they are all dumbfounded. Because as they talk to Deborah and Tony, they watch scratches form on his face. And everyone keeps getting shocked. As the cameramen walk around, their legs and hands are getting shocked. Words are getting carved into Tony. The things that they capture on audio and camera. This story is completely bizarre, and I am so excited to be sharing it with you guys. I'm just gonna leave it for part 2. I'll catch you later.
He says that having his own fingers amputated has made him feel more complete. Yet he says he's only 46% of the way to becoming an alien, and what he has planned next is disturbing. This man hails from Montpellier, France, and his name is Anthony Lafredo. Anthony calls himself the Black Alien. He began his transformation at the age of 27, and in order to look less and less like a human, he's already had tattoos all over his body, as well as numerous cosmetic surgeries such as removing his tongue, nose, ears, and 2 fingers. He's also had his teeth dyed purple and the whites of his eyes black. He even had silicone implants implanted. To justify all this, he explains, first you have to know what you want, then you have to have the courage to say it, and finally you have to have the energy to do it. According to some sources, his next steps are to have his legs amputated and to become very thin. So we wonder what he'll look like when he's reached 100% of his transformation. And more importantly, we wonder why nobody's stopping him because he's clearly hurting himself. But he says, I'm lucky enough to live the life I want, to do what I want physically. It's absolute freedom. There's no one to stop me. Except that he still complains when he gets kicked out of public places like certain restaurants, which don't hesitate to ask him to leave.
Something coming down, man. I got something screaming down there. I don't know what this is, man. Something fucking screaming down there, man. Hello? Where are you? Show yourself right now! Something big moving in there, man. Something real big, guys. What the fuck? Shit, man.
This monster is one of the saddest monster stories I have ever heard. Medusa had beautiful long hair, and everybody loved her, including the gods. So sadly, the god Neptune sexually assaulted her in the temple of the goddess Athena. When Athena found out what happened, she didn't punish Neptune, but instead Medusa, since she was an easier target. Medusa fled, but not before her hair became dozens of snakes, and anyone she stared at became stone. Athena, still not satisfied, sent a warrior to kill her, so the coward crept up behind her while she slept and chopped off her head. He would use the head in battle until one day he used it against a blind man. Thinking it didn't work anymore, he stared directly at the head, and like poetic justice, he became stone, and Medusa got the last laugh.
She's totally panicked, but not by the accident. Rather because she's seen a strange animal that looks human cut her off.
This is the story of the Billy Bob incident. I'm a home flipper and I purchased this one condo in Nebraska that had been abandoned by the former owner, which is odd. I got a list of everything that was found inside. The oddest of the bunch was an animatronic from the 1980s called Billy Bob, apparently a part of something called Showbiz Pizza or whatever. So I ordered for this item to get removed. Eventually I found a tenant, and after a few months, they stopped paying for their rent. And as it turned out, they weren't even on the property. That's happened before. So then I found a new tenant, and again, they just disappeared. The oddest thing about these two is that they didn't steal or damage anything, which Thank God, on one hand, but also strange. I decided to visit the property myself when I went inside and looked around. And you wouldn't believe this. The Billy Bob animatronic was still there, just sitting in the corner. It racked its head towards me, and I ran out. I drove straight home, hoping this was the end of it. And once I got to my apartment, I was notified that someone was all the way downstairs, buzzing the office. I tried calling security not to open the door, but it was too late. I turned off the lights and sat as far away as I could from the door, hoping he didn't know which apartment I was in. And soon a shadow of 2 legs appeared, and the thud stopped. I heard what once was my doorknob get crushed, and the door opened.
There's really one place on Earth left where there's true cannibals. It's Papua New Guinea. I would just love to actually see these cannibalistic tribes. So I'd love to do that. Nobody has successfully, unless it's happened very recently that I'm unaware of, successfully done source to sea of the Congo River from guerrilla warfare, from crazy waterfalls, disease. That's an expedition I'd like to try.
Those sound like very dangerous trips. Like visiting cannibals?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how to say this without sounding arrogant, but that's what sounds exciting to me. Taking that shot that other people aren't taking.
Have people visited these cannibals and come out of there before?
Yep. There was a Nat Geo photographer who got some incredible photos. They're called the Karaway tribe. He went in there, took him a while for them to kind of assimilate and get comfortable, and then he got these photos that are just mind-blowing.
Now, how often do they practice cannibalism?
It's not a daily thing. It is a spiritual thing where they actually eat the other tribes deceased after a war or an intertribal conflict as a way to, like, ward off bad spirits. So it's not like a daily thing. It's not like they're going out hunting each other. It's more like when these things occur, they have to eat a certain kill or a certain body to keep evil spirits at bay.
Never do this. This guy was incredibly lucky. His name is Dengo, and he was trying to extract venom from one of the most venomous and dangerous snakes in the world. Moreover, a few drops were projected into the air. When handling such things, you must be extremely careful because, for example, the venom of the Gaboon viper can stop your heart in less than a second. So, it's safe to say that this man narrowly escaped the worst. But wait, you haven't seen anything yet. Before we continue, don't forget that I can only protect my subscribers who have shared, commented on the video, and watched it until the end. Did you know that by clicking on share and then on calculator, you can see how many hours you've spent on TikTok? It's unbelievable to think what might have happened if the guy hadn't noticed that a snake was entering his shoe. It's too much for me. I'll leave you with a video of a weasel fighting a giant cobra. Who do you think will win?
10 cryptids that might just be out there. First, the Yeti, said to dwell in the Himalayas. Next, the Loch Ness Monster, reportedly lurking in Scotland's Loch Ness. The Jersey Devil, a creature haunting New Jersey's Pine Barrens. Bigfoot, a hairy figure walking upright through the North American wilderness. The Chupacabra, a vampire-like creature seen in Latin America. Mothman, a winged, red-eyed entity reported in West Virginia. El Chupacabra of Puerto Rico, a hopping, alien-like being. The Thunderbird, a giant bird in Native American folklore. Mokele Mbembe, a creature in Central Africa, often compared to a dinosaur. Finally, the Kraken, a colossal sea monster from Scandinavian folklore, big enough to engulf ships.
There's a legend from 19th century Ireland about a man known as Stingy Jack. According to the story, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. But true to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink. So he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin that he could use to buy their drinks. But once the devil did so, Jack decided to pocket the money instead, putting the coin into his pocket next to his silver cross, which prevented the devil from returning to his original form. Eventually, Jack freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for another year, and that, should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack tricked the devil into climbing a tree to pick a piece of fruit. While he was up in the tree, Jack carved the sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not climb back down. Once again, Jack made a bargain with the devil that he would help the devil escape the tree if the devil left him alone for 10 more years. But so the legend goes, soon after, Jack passed away. But God wouldn't let such an unsavory figure as Stingy Jack into heaven. And the devil was still so furious at Jack that he decided the best punishment was to keep his word and not claim Jack's soul. Instead, he sent Jack off into the dark night with only a burning coal to light his way. Jack put the coal inside a carved turnip and has been roaming the earth ever since. The Irish began to refer to him as Jack of the Lantern, or more simply, Jack-o'-lantern. Ever since, people have carved scary faces into pumpkins and placed them next to windows or doors to scare Stingy Jack away every Halloween.
In the isolation of 1892 rural America, the hamlet of Black Creek found itself host to a wandering puppeteer. his arrival heralding a series of unsettling events. The puppeteer's marionettes, unnerving in their lifelike semblance, moved with an autonomy that chilled the marrow of even the hardest folk. Night after night, townsfolk gathered, drawn by morbid curiosity, to watch the puppet show under the flickering glow of oil lanterns. Each performance concluded, however, in a chilling realization. A child from the audience would inexplicably vanish. Morning light unveiled a ghastly truth. A new puppet would grace the puppeteer's stage, mirroring with haunting accuracy the likeness of the missing child. Whispers of dread and suspicion swept through the town, a feeling of impending doom hanging in the air, and yet the puppeteer packed his cart each dawn, leaving the traumatized hamlet behind, carrying with him the wooden visages of their lost children.
There's a hospital in Toronto that my teacher used to work at. There was a common story because she was working on the floor where people were like on their last hour. And before they would pass away, they would talk about this doctor that visited them. And the doctor would always say, oh, it's all right, like you'll be calm. And they would talk to like the nurse that was working there, like, can I speak to that doctor again? He was like tall, he had like black hair, this and that. And the nurses would be like, oh, there's no, like we have a brown doctor, we have like an Asian doctor. What are you talking about? What doctor are you talking about? Yeah. And then like, no, like this doctor, he was this and this and this. Now, the theory is he was a doctor that worked there a long time ago. I don't know if you ever watched The Shining. It's a movie. Yeah, I have. Yeah, and then you know how that spirit of the person, because you worked there, was stuck. Yeah. It was like almost stuck, but he was still helping, you know? He had a purpose beyond. Yeah. Because he was kind of like guiding them type of thing.
Beneath this parking lot are the bodies of countless miners from the 1800s. Their spirits are known to scare guests staying inside the motel rooms. And the haunted clown dolls people send to the motel don't help either.
If you see a man or a thing acting this way, run and don't look back even if it's your father. In the rest of the video, this thing is going to do something terribly shocking. Before I show you the end of this video, I have to warn you. I can only protect my subscribers who have liked and shared this video. This man is a father, the normal Joe who lives a normal life. But these past few days, the children have all noticed strange changes in their father's behavior. He was talking alone, laughing alone. Then came the day when they found him standing on the roof of the house, staring at the night sky. But what the young son will discover on this day is more terrifying than anything they have seen so far. He transformed into this thing, and here's what he did.
This queen used to make men duel to the death before sleeping with the winner. Nzinga was a powerful leader in Angola during the 1600s. She didn't want to be called a queen, but a king, and even dressed like a man to show her power. She broke the rules of how men and women were supposed to act, showing she was strong and liked to do things her own way. Nzinga had a big group of young men, about 80, who she called her male wives. They had to dress as women and do the jobs women usually did in the palace. She had a strange way to show she was in charge. She made 2 of her male wives fight each other until one died, and she would watch. The one who won got to spend one night with her, but that was it, because she never slept with the same person more than once. The next day, the winner was also killed, and the process started over. It wasn't until she was 75 years old that Nzinga stopped having her harem. Then she did something really surprising by marrying the youngest one, who was much younger than her, almost like her child.
What happens if you get into a close engagement with somebody when you're running that 5.7, is it enough knockdown? We like to do a EDC pocket dump warm up.
Okay.
What are you rocking?
I'm pretty straightforward. I think people complicate it. So I'm like a KISS guy, keep it simple, stupid. And so I have my keys, I have my cell phone. I unfortunately carry 2 wallets, a work wallet, and then like my regular wallet. Then I have a small fixed blade. Right now it's a Montana knife. That's the Speed Goat. I love it.
Where do you carry it?
I carry it right on the inside of my hip.
3 o'clock?
Yep. And then I appendix carry just on the inside, so like 245. And then appendix carry a SIG. So
What's on your SIG?
I have a red dot, and I'm using, what are the name of these? They're solid core copper and steel rounds that tumble on impact. So that's
interesting. Wait, hold on. What are these rounds?
They're called Fortis.
Fortis?
Yep.
I've never heard of this.
They do a great job on penetration against soft body armor, and they do a great job on penetration of metals, aluminums, vehicles. But when they hit water-based things, tissue, they tumble. So when you shoot them on ballistic gel, you see great cavity. And they do the 2 things that I wanted, because I used to carry a 5.7 because I wanted that penetration with black rounds. So like those were solid steel core bullets, fast velocity.
You kind of like, you helped launch that gun, didn't you?
Unfortunately, the Fort Hood shooter, I think, launched that gun because that's what he used, and that's why he had such a high success and ratio of death to wounded. That's not something anybody wants to talk about, but when you get to a case study like that, you're like, well, that performed really well. And then in light of a bunch of people wearing body armor, bad guys wearing body armor, a bunch of recent shooters have been wearing soft body armor or like level 3 body armor. So I wanted something that I could just, send 5-6 rounds center mass and have good rounds on target.
Yeah. How many rounds did that hold?
17.
17 rounds? Yeah. Why'd you switch? Why'd you switch to SIG?
With ammo that I love 9mm, from a Glock 43 to a, SIG 365, all of these high capacity, double stacked, but small profile, I unfortunately, do you hate those tall, skinny guys that can conceal a machine gun on their body?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you're a 220 pound, 5'11" troll, it's not as easy to hide things on your body. So, I wanted smaller, concealable, easy to access weapons. So I'm a big fan of 9mm, but I needed something with penetration. And now there's been such rapid evolution of penetration with good energy transference on the ammo side that all right, we're good to go back to 9mm.
Yeah. Why do you feel like you needed penetration power?
I mean, if you just look at, look at where we're sitting right now. That shooter was set up to do a bunch of evil until somebody turned the lights out. The CNS, of course, is a fantastic place to put a bullet. Center mass, unfortunately, that 20 by 10 inches is sometimes difficult to shoot, especially when the only thing that's going to be exposed is an eye and a barrel. When you have a 40-inch by 20-inch wide, 3-4 times the size of the target, but it's covered by body armor, all I can shoot at is the head or whatever portion of the body's exposed. If you look at the North Hollywood shooting, I think it was the first time that we really saw how difficult it is with someone in body armor to remove them from the battle space. And ultimately, what they had to do was shoot underneath cars and shoot them in the feet and the knees to put them on the ground. And then once they're on the ground, these were solvable problems. They were outgunned, they were outmatched. And this is when cops were still cruising around with shotguns.
Yeah.
So you got a guy with body armor and you have a shotgun and a 9mm. There's nothing they're running into hunting stores and trying to borrow hunting rifles from an FFL off the side of the street so they can put rounds into a guy that's zipping everybody up. That was 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
And now with the accessibility of body armor, these douchebags know.
I'm with you. You know, it's something that I go back and forth on with the penetration power and stopping power.
Yeah.
You know, like a hollow point, 9mm hollow point. But you know, we learned this lesson back in 2005 with Green Tip. My platoon did. I mean, it wasn't. What happens if you get into a close engagement with somebody and you're running that 5.7? Are they gonna? Is it enough knockdown, or are they gonna? You know, especially if you're a woman. You know what I mean? So it's that balance of. I mean, what I'm getting at is we were shooting guys 10, 15 times with Green Tip.
You got 10, 15 little tiny holes.
And they did not even realize they were being shot.
Yeah.
And nor could they tell which direction they were being shot from. And I mean, so we were doing center mass, obviously, but that really, it's just a tough balance, I think. So
yeah. That's always been the question. You know, an animal's an animal. I was hunting last weekend. I was hunting red deer. I shot a ball 6.5 Creedmoor, and into red deer are big elk-like animals. And I was shooting like a match grade precision rifle bullet, and I was almost a half a mile. 6.5 bullet placement was perfect. You know, straight through the lungs, straight through the heart, and took one step forward and fell. When we're cleaning it, you see a nice entry wound. You see a nice hole going through vital organs, and then you see the bullet impacting the rib on the far side and stopping there because we lost enough energy at 700 meters that it doesn't have that same kind of power. 3 hours later, this is a meat hunt. This is not, because you're like, why did you shoot 2 deer in one day? So then I'm shooting a 28 Nosler, and I shot this doe, this female red deer. She was running and hopping over a fence about 100 meters with a 28 Nosler, and it exploded every organ inside of her chest. Like there was nothing, like everything was gelatin, and the amount of energy that carried at that range with that specific bullet that is designed to transfer energy into permanent life-ending moments. It's on that spectrum of like a hard bullet traveling fast at a far distance, not carrying energy and transferring it into a target, to the opposite end, which is this crazy fast high energy bullet that is carrying all of the energy into the target and then transferring it. It is like, but it's always that question, like, well, how far do you want to shoot? How far do you want to get into the thing that you're shooting? How much energy? That's the question that we've been asking for forever.
Yeah. What? Back to your carry. Which SIG are you rocking?
The 365.
365?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Legion.
The Legion?
Yeah.
I'll be down.
This man messed with the wrong animal. His name is Vladimir Markov, a poacher whose life was forcefully taken by a wild tiger. This gruesome story happened in 1997, as Markov was poaching in the forest when he stumbled upon a tiger eating its kill. With lethal intention, he aimed his rifle and shot, but the tiger managed to run away. Disappointed, he then took a part of its kill and went home. However, this proved to be a grave mistake, as what Markov did made the tiger furious. The injured tiger proceeded to stake out Markov's cabin and wreak havoc on his home, destroying anything with Markov's scent, then waited for over half a day for Markov to come home. When Markov finally appeared, the tiger jacked him with over 300 pounds of pure muscle. Markov never stood a chance, as the beast dragged him into the bush before devouring him. The locals said that he broke the unwritten rule of man and beast, because a tiger had never killed a person there before. So the moral of the story is, don't mess with tigers.
This woman was doing strange things with her horse. Then her husband decided to buy a camera, and the footage will shock the entire world. Get ready for a story that defies imagination. Coming straight from the countryside near Austin, Texas. This is the story of Manon and Theo, a young married couple who settled in a peaceful country house. Since arriving at the farm, Theo found Manon to be genuine. She spent hours and hours with her horse, completely neglecting her husband. Certainly, he was happy to see her so joyful, but this made him very sad and he found it very complicated. One day, he talks to his cousin Gabriel, a real IT professional. Gabriel comes up with the crazy idea to buy a camera for the farm to spy on his wife. Theo hesitates, but eventually agrees. Without further ado, Theo sits in front of his computer, ready to watch the footage, hoping to uncover his wife Manon's secret. And what he sees on the screen is so incredible that he can't believe his eyes. Manon does something so incredible that it brings tears to his eyes. Hit the plus for part 2 to discover what Manon did.
I am the reason you need to be nice to your toys. My name is Harold. I was created by 2 farmer brothers for their own pleasure. Whenever they had a hard day, they would use me as their outlet. They would take out their frustrations on me by taunting me with harsh words. They would even use me as their punching bag. One evening, I just couldn't stay silent anymore. After one of the brothers shoved his food onto my face, I grunted. This caused the brothers to freeze. They looked at each other and wondered if what they heard was real. They stopped being so mean to me for a while, but a few weeks later they were back at it, beating me and throwing me around. I had finally had enough. In the middle of one of my beatings, I stood up. I stared at the brothers with all of my anger, and they began to quiver in fear. Good. I then walked outside and climbed up on the roof. This is where I stayed. The brothers were so scared that they decided to leave. This was smart of them, because I was plotting my revenge. They left, and I decided that this house was my home now. I climbed down off of the roof just in time to see one of the brothers sneaking back on my property. This was the final straw. Now his skin is laying out to dry on my roof. If his brother ever shows up, he'll meet the same fate.
I am a time traveler from 2075. I'm Dylan Page, and here is what will happen in the next 52 years. Watch until the end, and I will tell you something that proves that I am not lying. On November 12, 2023, a massive flood will occur in Hawaii, destroying a major part of Honolulu. This will spark many conspiracies, questioning if this flood was natural or not. On December 5th, 2024, the President of the United States will pass away. It will leave the country in complete shock, and a new election will be organized. But it gets way crazier. In October 2027, a cave with an entire civilization of human-like creatures will be found inside of Mount Everest. Those creatures will have superpowers such as the ability to fly or control people's minds. At first, they will try to take complete control of our planet, but quickly, a peace treaty will be made, and we will all live together in serenity. And on September 5th, 2023, something insane will happen. So be ready. Send this to a friend to know what happened from 2027 to 2075.
SCP-457 is a sentient entity made of fire, housed in a fireproof chamber with blast shielding. It can change shape and size based on fuel availability, even assuming a human-like form. As it grows larger, it gets smarter. It communicates through writing and sometimes speech. When it reaches a certain size, it splits into 2 beings. They're hostile to each other. SCP-457 is unpredictable. It has been observed damaging systems, setting traps, and attempting to manipulate personnel. Its origins are mysterious, discovered after wildfires in 2007. Its danger lies in its growing intelligence and ability to mimic behaviors. Research is ongoing to understand its potential involvement in major fires.
That's why you should never walk alone. He almost ended up in dark web videos.
duendes.
Ooh, okay.
Entity that could live in your house, lives in the woods and nature and Some of them are mischievous, some of them could also be good. Some people kind of make a deal with duendes. You give them offerings and shit like that, and in return they do stuff for you.
Like they help you?
And there's this video of a guy talking about how one of his cousins came to him and shit and said, yo, I have something for you.
Is it duende?
Do you want it? He's like, I want it, fuck it.
Oh, he doesn't even ask what is it, or it depends what it is?
He's like, it's a toy, tiene vida. And that ever since he got that, good stuff has been happening. He's been having a lot of luck.
Un troll, un duende. Sí, se llama Chayán. Tiene como 20 años o más. Sí, me lo regaló un primo. Pero tiene vida, dice. Digo, dámelo. Me ha servido mucho, gracias a Dios, me ha dado mucha suerte. Porque un día falleció mi hermano y no tenía dinero, nada de dinero. Le digo, cabrón, ayúdame. En lo que llegué a mi casa, llegaron 3 camionetas cerradas. Me junté como 6,000 baros. Ya cuando iba llegando, falleció mi hermano. Y ya le dije a mis sobrinos, aquí está, ya hay dinero.
What the fuck? Yeah. I feel like there has to be some sort of catch to it, though. I feel like that's too good to be true, bro.
I mean, he did say, like, it's been bringing him a lot of luck. And there's a lot of places in Mexico as well that you could buy, like, statues of them.
Nah, yeah, that I do know.
They have them in, like, cages and shit, like wooden cages.
I remember our old barber, he always tell us the stories about, I believe the only way to get rid of the duende is to offer them to somebody else who willingly wants them.
And then also it's said that
Have you ever wondered why Domino's dropped their Noid mascot back in the 90s? Just like how McDonald's has Ronald McDonald and Burger King had the King, Domino's had the Noid. First created in 1986, the slogan was "Avoid the Noid," as he would try to thwart pizza deliveries.
The Noid loves to roll pizza. Whole Domino's pizza. We avoid the Noid.
But this all changed for Domino's on January 30th, 1989. On that day, Kenneth Lamar Noid took 2 Domino's Pizza employees hostage with a .357 Magnum in Georgia. Now, the entire ordeal lasted about 5 hours, and his demands were $10,000, a getaway car, and a copy of the book The Widow's Son. He also demanded the employees make him a pizza. While he was enjoying the pizza, they managed to escape and no one was hurt. Kenneth was arrested and charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and theft by extortion. So what exactly did the Domino's Noid have to do with Kenneth Noid? He had become convinced that the ads were directly aimed at him, with his last name being Noid and the ad saying, "Avoid the Noid." One of the arresting officers at the scene said that he was having an ongoing feud in his mind, believing that the commercials were made to mock him. He fully believed that the owner of Domino's Pizza was telling people to avoid him.
Avoid the Noid. Avoid the Noid. Avoid the Noid.
Now, he was charged but found not guilty due to reasons of insanity and was sent to a Georgia mental health clinic. Domino's continued on as normal until another incident in 1995. Still convinced that the pizza chain was out to get him, Kenneth took his own life in his Florida apartment. Following this, the pizza chain immediately stopped using the Noid in their marketing campaigns. Since then, the Noid has made a few smaller appearances on t-shirts, in pinball machines, in a video game, and a small snippet in an ad. Now, in 2021, Domino's released an ad showcasing their new driverless delivery vehicles. The ad showing off that the Noid is back, but he has not been seen since that ad.
Yo, did you hear that? A YouTuber just found the devil in California. This is terrifying, bro.
No.
So, popular YouTuber and well-known social media star from the United States, Derek Watkins, better known as iShowSpeedy, just found the devil in California. He was live streaming to his audience when his life changed forever. Speed was exploring a haunted house, trying to find proof of paranormal activity. They found a house near the Los Santos area, and people say it's the most haunted house in America. But what he found turned out to be his worst nightmare. They searched the house to find nothing, but the real terror began when they reached the backyard. Speed began to feel scared, like there was a demonic presence nearby. He began to hear strange noises, and suddenly a figure began to run at them, cornering Derek inside a small area, when suddenly he realized it wasn't just a demon, it was Satan himself. He took out his phone to video it to see the video comment, "Speed loves Messi," and we will send it via DM.